Big Mike, what up, my guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, brother? How you doing, Big Kev?
Chilling, man. We are back at it with another Crosstown Conversation. Today's topics are going to be: are both organizations a little too quiet? Like, we wondering, are they going to make any more moves before the next couple of weeks? And then, how would you pitch Roki Sasaki to come to either the White Sox or the Cubs? And finally, would it make sense for either team to approach third baseman Alex Bregman with an offer? We're going to discuss it all right after the intro. All right, all right. Welcome to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central and Chicago White Sox Central. This is our weekly conversation for the crosstown situation, crosstown conversation. Big Mike, what's the word?
Hey, what's good, man? I can't call it, brother. I'm just here, excited to be talking some baseball with you, my man. Like I said, it's the winter time, so but baseball should be heating up here real soon, man. The Cubs actually got an early start to the season, so like I said, a couple more months, man, and we'll kick it back into high gear. But excited just to get together with you, man. Obviously, talk about what them Sox over there doing on the South Side. Switching stadium names every week and whatnot.
Talk about every week, every couple of years. We can't all be Wrigley Field now.
Mm.
But to your point though, it has been quiet on both sides a little bit. The Cubs now they did make some noise today. The name with the Marlins, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the Cubs. So and for everybody that watched the or tuned in, tried to tune in earlier to the live that I did, the Cubs actually did make a move. They traded first baseman Matt Mervis, who was a part of their core going forward. Well, not a part of their core going forward, but a part of their future. A lot of people thought they traded first baseman Matt Mervis to the Marlins for a pitch a hitter. What's his name? Hold on, I literally just forgot. Marlins Cubs trade. Hold on, I did a whole video about it, bro, and couldn't even
I know how it goes. You got a
couldn't
lot
even remember
going on.
old boy name. Bruhan is his name. Valdi Bruhan is his name, and the Cubs traded for him. He's a utility man. They went ahead and did that deal a little bit earlier today. News broke about that probably around Valdi Bruhan. Vidal Bruhan is his name, and
Yeah.
they traded for him a little bit earlier. Now, this move, a lot of people aren't sure if this move is one that is for right now, like he's going to be on the team and going to be vying for a bench spot, or if this is a move for the Cubs are cooking something bigger with the potential trade coming down the pipeline. I guess we just gotta watch and see.
It makes me wonder though because Matt Mervis was supposed to be a big part of the Chicago Cubs, and
Yeah,
now they have their first baseman with they
Michael
still
Bush.
got Michael
Hmm.
Bush that they brought him in last year. How they looking at third base though? How the Cubs looking at third base? We'll get into that later because we're thinking about possibly the Cubs should make a move for Bergman, but
Yep.
now that Cody Bellinger is gone.
Hmm.
You got your outfield set, but is the infield set? Like, how's the third base looking for the Cubs?
Third base right now, all signs are pointing towards Matt Shaw holding down the third base position right now. It looks like that's the move, unless the Cubs decide to, surprise us all. Which again, we were all surprised with the Kyle Tucker move in right field earlier. So I mean, nothing's off the table. But yeah, it looks like as of right now, Matt Shaw is going to be your everyday third baseman.
So
Uh,
Matt Shaw, he listen, we like what we see from him down in the minors. So like it's
yeah.
time for him to come up and make some noise. But I didn't counsel say that he's gonna have to earn it though. Like he's not just gonna give it to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're going to give him a hard, long look at third base. But don't be surprised if the Cubs look at somebody like a Justin Turner too. I did a episode earlier last week. I released it where I said that Justin Turner is on the Cubs' radar as a potential third baseman option too. He does still have pop in his bat. He is a little bit long in the legs, like I said, because he's older. But at the same time, he still has a lot to contribute to a team, and he's played for the Dodgers, a winning organization. and he also, like I said, has played for the Red Sox also. So he has the pedigree behind him, and he can hit you home runs, and he is serviceable on defense. So my thought is either the guy we're going to talk about in the third section, or Matt Shaw, or a combination of Matt Shaw and Justin Turner, or an older third baseman, and they kind of trade off back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs are quietly becoming one of those teams that you got to watch. You're going to
Hmm.
have to watch to see how they gel. Because I remember last season when they started off really, really hot, even with the injury to their ace pitcher, it didn't slow them down until they got into the month of May and completely fell off a cliff. I'm thinking that the Cubs are going to sustain a little bit more success early and keep it going throughout the summer. Hopefully, they're not going to be in a situation where it's the trade deadline. Because the last 2 seasons, they had to make major trade deadline moves in order to try to push toward the playoffs. This season, I'm coming up. I feel like the Cubs are going to keep pace with the Milwaukee Brewers and or whoever else is up there in that top three situation and push for not just the playoff spot but winning the NL Central. And it's going to take a couple more moves though. They got some bullpen moves to make, and then that third base situation is still a question. Because I remember when we brought up Christopher Morel and he was playing third base, it was like, okay, we might have something there. He started off really hot and tapered off. Matt Shaw is going to have to prove himself at third base.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Matt Shaw definitely has to prove himself to the organization, and more importantly, like you said, to Craig Counsell. It's not going to be just given to him. This third base position will be earned this time. Like I said, Craig Counsell, I thought last year managed a little bit and gave almost a little bit too much leash to Christopher Morel at third base just because we knew of the pop he had in his bat. The problem being is that he made so many critical mistakes at third base that cost the Cubs games. And then on top of that, he stopped hitting. So then you switch him out for Nick Madrigal, and you put Nick Madrigal at third base, and he's serviceable as a third baseman, very good. He's able to move and stop balls and make good key plays at third base. However, his bat was trash. So then you miss the hit factor with Nick Madrigal. So I think this year you need to solidify your team by making sure that you get somebody that you know for a fact can do both. Matt Shaw can do both. He has done both at the minor league level. Can he do it at the major league level is the question. But I also think if you do strike out on somebody like a Alex Bregman, then you do look at going ahead and signing somebody like a Justin Turner to a 1 year deal. That way, if Matt Shaw cannot give you what you need, you have somebody there to either mentor him at third base, switch off with him at third base, something of the sort. That way, you're not just stuck in a rut like you were last year between Christopher Morel and between Christopher Morel and Nick Madrigal.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as the White Sox are concerned, it's quiet on all fronts. Frankly, the only news that we're hearing is that they want to try their hand at Sasaki as well. They've made a lot of small moves this offseason to try to fill out their roster, and some of them ain't even going to make the team. But this is going to be a really, really, really young Chicago White Sox team filled with prospects moving forward. And honestly, that could be what they pitch to Sasaki so he can come over, get his feet wet in the majors, get a feel for it without much pressure on expecting to win now as opposed to going to like say the Yankees or the Dodgers. Now going to the Dodgers would be crazy. I would be so angry if Sasaki went to the Dodgers because they just get everybody. But it could be a Paul Scheme type situation for the White Sox when you come to a team that has everything. They're gonna roll up the red carpet for him, and he'll find himself in a situation where he's pitching with the Chicago White Sox young guys, Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, those guys having a nice rotation and just being young and trying to figure themselves out through the major leagues. But they don't really have much else to offer Sasaki besides coming to a team that he can be the unquestioned ace on and moving forward from there. But that's it. There's nothing else to really say about the White Sox. It's really at the point where we're just gonna have to see just how much better they can be than they were last year with a completely new coaching staff. Well, not completely new, but a new manager, a new assistant manager, a couple of other coaches up and down there, up and down that roster. So I'm excited to see the White Sox. I know that sounds strange for a team that lost 120 plus games last year, but I'm very excited to see how this young team is going to come out in April and May and moving going through the rest of the season.
Absolutely. So for me, when I look at the White Sox, if I'm pitching to Roki Sasaki that you need to come to the White Sox, it's twofold. It's one, There is no pressure because there is no expectation of you. Everybody's just gonna be excited if you come to the White Sox and you sign here. Like literally, the roof will blow off. They'll throw a parade for you over on the South Side just because you came. Now, if you want to come here, we immediately make you the face of the organization. We
Mm-hmm.
sell tickets off your back. You literally become the face of an organization. You literally will get paid millions of dollars to stay here as well and be the face of this organization. And then guess what? There is no playoff pressure. Teams already know the White Sox are going to make the playoffs next year. You come
Mm-hmm.
in here and you just do what you do. We're creating a new culture. We're creating a new journey. You start with us on this journey. We're going to keep adding pieces through the draft every single season. And then when you come up and you're ready and it's time, like I said, you'll have grown together. You'll be able to grow with guys like Edgar Quero
Yeah.
and Colson Montgomery and
Yep.
Kyle Teal and Noah Schultz and guys like that. So you're looking at an opportunity to grow with a young team
To
and
kind of
be
be like
able.
the Orioles.
Yep, yep,
The
yep.
Orioles of today, 3-4 years ago, the Orioles were a 100 loss team, and here they
Exactly,
are now making the playoffs in a very tough AL East. So
exactly.
so speaking of so we'll get back to the Cubs and what they should do in terms of approaching Bregman. Like, should they even really truly approach this young man, or is he going? Because I'm hearing that the Detroit Tigers have the inroads for him right now. Like, that's been the hottest news that I've heard. Or are the Cubs content? Are they going to just chill out with Matt Shaw and go with what they have?
Yeah, so I've also read those reports on the Tigers looking to go after Bregman. Bregman is 30 years old. Like I said, last year for Houston, he had a batting average of 260. He had 26 home runs, 75 RBIs, and 151 hits. The Detroit Tigers did make the playoffs last year, so that is a feather in their cap. And they could say like, "Hey, we do have these young guys on this team, these young go getters." And we know that we can come and we can get some wins and you can bring more quality to this team. They also can offer him a good amount of money too over in Detroit. Now, with the Cubs, they cannot offer him what Detroit can offer him money wise. We know that off jump. But the Chicago Cubs absolutely should look at trying to get Alex Bregman. Listen, I have been of the mindset all offseason long that we cannot afford to do what we did last year. We cannot afford to play the wait and see approach. We cannot afford to just hope that guys overplay their contracts, that guys just give you more, that you can get 30 home runs out of Ian Happ this season, that say Suzuki all of a sudden is going to give you 30 home runs, that you still got Kyle Tucker that's going to hit bombs as well. Everybody's going to stay healthy all season long. This is baseball. It just don't happen that way. Guys are
Yeah.
going to get injured. Guys are
Yeah.
going to get hurt. Things are going to happen during the season. However, you can plan or overplan by making sure that you have your roster stocked with as many weapons as possible. If you can go get a
Mm-hmm.
rookie Sasaki, great. If you can go get an Alex Bregman, even better. If you can go bring these guys to your organization and just pad your lead in the NL Central, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do it? At least have a conversation. I've always been in the mindset Cubs fans won't be upset with Jed Hoyer if he at least tries. It's the
Mm-hmm.
times that we don't hear anything or we hear that the Cubs didn't even make an offer, didn't even
Mm-hmm.
try. Like the Juan
Mm-hmm.
Soto thing. Like the Cubs didn't even try to pitch
Mm-hmm.
Juan Soto. Like they just knew they were out of his league and weren't willing to offer him all this type of money. Not even in deferment. Not even in, hey, right now we can pay you this much, but then we defer some of that money back and we'll pay you some back in the future. To me, it's just mind-boggling how the Chicago organizations do not treat this city, do not treat their teams like they're first-class organizations. Like we can't be the Dodgers, like the Bulls can't be the Warriors or the Lakers or the Knicks or anybody. Like the Bears can't be, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like we have all the money possible to be able to do these things. These owners are making money hand over fist because we go out, we buy the merch, we buy the tickets, we pay for the parking, we go and we support these teams. The stadiums are always packed, but yet still the organizations don't go out and spend the money. They
Yeah.
don't do it.
The fans definitely deserve better. But I will say, to the Cubs' credit, they have went out and made moves to improve this roster, and they unloaded Cody Bellinger, which gave them a little bit more money to make some more moves. They added to the pitching last year and this season. Again, they're just one or two moves away from being not just a will they, could they, but being an actual powerhouse in the NL Central and the National League in general. And we know that that can happen. They were this close these last two seasons. They were just a couple of players away, a couple of games away, a couple of pitchers away, a couple of managerial decisions away. So at the end of the day, the Cubs are the one team that are at least trying to get better and
Mm-hmm.
actually make a playoff run next season. You're not seeing that from the Chicago Bulls, the Bears, or the White Sox, or the Blackhawks. They're all leagues behind the rest of the leagues, their respective leagues. And as a fan of all of these teams, it's been rough. It's been a rough time, a rough go at it. But again, the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox proved to me that they at least want to get better in the future with the moves that they made this offseason, especially with bringing in the new manager, especially with getting rid of Garrett Crochet and getting that haul, as it were, of prospects. So we'll see what the White Sox are like in 2 or 3 seasons. But at the end of the day, all of these Chicago teams got to step up if they want these fans to at least be able to cheer for them with pride, because it's been rough. It's definitely been rough.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do like Kev, think about this. It's Chicago. Chicago is one of the most iconic cities in the United States of America. Think about it. We're known for Michael Jordan. We're
Mm-hmm.
known for Walter Payton. We're
Mm-hmm.
known for Big Hurt Frank Thomas. We're known
Mm-hmm.
for Sammy Sosa, who's coming back home, going to
Mm-hmm.
Cubs Con this in a couple weeks. Guys, listen, you can literally sell Roki, you can
Mm-hmm.
sell Bregman, you can
Mm-hmm.
sell these guys on. Hey, listen, look at dude. Do you know when Michael Jordan was here? He had a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
billboards everywhere. I mean, he was making money out the wazoo just off of endorsement deals around local Chicago. Not to
Mm-hmm.
mention the nationwide, worldwide endorsement deals he made. I mean, like I said, I remember. You remember the McDonald's Dennis Rodman cups
Mm-hmm.
that had every color of his hair on there, different colors
Yep.
of his hair on there.
Great
I mean, just
times.
yeah, just
Even
think
Bill
about.
Winnington had a hamburger at McDonald's.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, man. That's
Even
what I'm
Bill
saying.
Winnington. So yeah, man, it's not a hard sell. It's just a matter of if they want to come up off those coins. But all right,
Sure.
man, we gotta go. It's Sunday, time to spend time with the family, getting ready for the new year.
Yes,
So if
sir.
we don't see you next week, we're gonna see you guys. It's gonna be 2025, and we'll be 1 week closer to baseball season, which is very exciting. But in the meantime, go ahead and pop in MLB the show. If you feel like getting your baseball rocks off, if you feel like playing some games, you know what I'm saying, see how they go look. But in the meantime, Mike, it's always a pleasure, man. It's really always a pleasure. I'm mad we
Yes,
didn't
sir.
get the chance to do this last week. It was super busy for the holiday, though.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. The holidays are a crazy time, but like I said, nonetheless, guys. Chicago White Sox Central, Chicago Cubs Central, bro. We love y'all, man. Thank y'all for always showing up and showing out for us on either channel. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and of course, follow us on all the different social medias over on X. Appreciate you for setting up the page as well for me for X. Got a brand new page, which is, let me scroll up and find it because I just got it. Chicago Sox Central Pod W. I'm sure that W was probably an accident, but we'll still to keep it. Sox Central Pod W for the Twitter page, and then we got Sox Central Pod over on IG. The same thing with Chicago Cubs Central as well. And you guys already know, hit us up at Chicago Baseball Central at gmail.com and leave us a email. Steely E, we appreciate you, bro, and everybody else that's in the chat in here watching. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We're gonna holler at you guys next time.